Taxes. The word alone can send shivers down your spine. They're complicated, they're confusing. And let's be honest, most of us would rather be doing literally anything else than trying to figure out our tax forms. That's where tax software like TurboTax comes in, promising to make the process easier and less painful. But what happens when the software that's supposed to help you actually leads you astray? For one woman, that nightmare became a reality. She trusted TurboTax to help her file her taxes accurately. She had a child and should have been eligible for the child tax credit. But for 3 years in a row, TurboTax told her she didn't qualify. 3 years. That's a lot of missed money that could have made a real difference in her life. This isn't just a one-time glitch or an isolated incident, it's a pattern of errors that has impacted countless TurboTax users, and it raises serious questions about the reliability of tax software and the potential consequences for unsuspecting taxpayers. Let's be clear, this woman did everything right. She carefully entered her information into TurboTax, trusting the software to guide her through the process. She had a qualifying child and her income was well within the eligibility limits for the child tax credit, yet, year after year, TurboTax told her she didn't qualify. How is that even possible? Well, it turns out that TurboTax's software has had some hiccups, particularly when it comes to calculating eligibility for certain tax credits. And in this case, those hiccups cost this woman thousands of dollars in tax refunds she was rightfully owed. Imagine her frustration. She's trying to do the responsible thing by filing her taxes on time and playing by the rules, but through no fault of her own, she's missing out on money that could have helped her family make ends meet. Thankfully, there's a bit of a happy ending to this story. The IRS, bless their souls, eventually caught TurboTax's mistake. They reviewed the woman's tax returns, realized she was eligible for the child tax credit all along, and issued her a refund for the missed payments. But not everyone is so lucky. Other TurboTax users haven't been so fortunate. Take, for example, the case of Cheryl Wong. She ended up owing the Canadian government $10,000 in back taxes because of a TurboTax error. Another user, Tim O'Shea, got hit with a whopping $17,000 tax bill, again due to a TurboTax miscalculation. These stories highlight the devastating financial impact that TurboTax's errors can have on everyday people. It's not just about missing out on a few $100s. We're talking about potentially life-altering sums of money. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Should we all just refuse to pay our taxes and live off the grid? Tempting, but probably not the most practical solution. Instead, here's a radical idea. Let's demand better from our tax software. TurboTax and other tax software companies need to be held accountable for their errors. They need to be transparent about how their software works and what steps they're taking to prevent these issues from happening again. And they need to provide better support to users who have been impacted by their mistakes. But it's not just up to the software companies. As taxpayers, we need to be vigilant. We can't just blindly trust that the software is always going to get it right. We need to double-check our returns, ask questions if something doesn't seem right, and consider seeking help from a qualified tax professional. Remember, when it comes to taxes, knowledge is power. Don't be afraid to ask questions, do your research, and stand up for your rights as a taxpayer. After all, it's your money on the line.